Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am bringing you another Sunday reset as I reset our patio around our pool area. And I decided to go ahead and do this video in time-lapse form, the whole thing, because each clip was so long. Y'all, this project took me way longer than I expected or remembered. I only do this about once a year, and so I always forget just how long and tedious this process is. But honestly, I do really enjoy it. I was talking to my husband about it because he was just saying he really admires that I'm such a hard worker, and I definitely like to keep busy. I like to work hard. And I was telling him that this project kind of reminds me of like those adult coloring books. I know this sounds weird, but like as you're erasing the dirt from the cement, it feels kind of like you're coloring. And it's also very meditative, which I actually haven't used one of those adult coloring books, but I have heard that it is very meditative. So I did kind of enjoy this process, and because it is a bit meditative, I was praying, and I also listened to some worship music for part of it, and so it was actually really nice, even though it was basically all afternoon. And actually, because it took me longer than I expected, I did end up getting this weird sunburn on my back. I did put sunscreen on, but I didn't ask anybody to help me put it on my back. So there were like spots that I missed on my upper back. And I didn't even put any sunscreen on my lower back just because, like I said, I didn't think I was going to be out there that long. And oftentimes when I do go out in the sun in the summer, I don't even wear sunscreen because I'm just really intentional with how long I'm out there, and I try not to be out there for too long. But I did get this weird burn on my back. There is a little bit of skin showing between my shorts and my top. And so, yeah, it just got burned, and it's really awkward because it's just this little strip on my back. Also, on this day, I had planned to get out this little handheld vacuum for our pool to clean the leaves out of the bottom of the pool. However, by the time I was done with this project, not only was I really exhausted and just ready to come inside, but in addition to that, whenever I clean the patio off, it actually makes the pool quite dirty, and I kind of forgot about that. My husband needed to go in and clean that up and shock the pool to get it back to baseline after I got some dirt pushed into the pool. I try my best to divert the water, the dirty water, off to the side and into the grass, but it is very difficult, like especially up on the upper part of that area next to the pool. So anyway, I ended up not doing that on this day just because I was extremely exhausted. And my husband did say that the robot vacuum should pick it up, but I looked out there this morning and there definitely was still some leaves. So I might go out there later on this weekend to finish that up. I know this footage is a bit repetitive, and whenever I have repetitive footage, I feel like maybe I need to do something a little bit more engaging in the voiceover. So I decided that I would just share a little story time, I guess, or talk a little bit about this house and how long we've lived here, and just a little bit the story behind moving here. So we live in Austin, for those of you who don't know, and we've actually lived in Austin for, I think it's 23 years now this summer. Yes, because my middle son is 24 and he was a year old when we moved to Austin. But when we first moved to Austin, we were living in apartments. My husband was a grad school student, and when we bought our first house, it was in a different area in Austin. It was a little bit more of an affordable area. We actually lived in that area of Austin for 5 years, and actually that was the first home we had ever purchased. But after living there and experiencing the school district there, we decided that we wanted to find a better school district for our children, and specifically because our middle son needed speech therapy and he wasn't getting the services he needed at the school he was attending. And so we really wanted to make sure that our kids had a good education and were receiving the services they needed. I'm going to pause for a moment and say, oh my goodness, I was using this concrete cleaner, which was different than the power wash cleaner for this other section because I ran out of the power wash cleaner and I think I was supposed to dilute it. So I definitely had to make several passes to get all of the suds away. Okay, I thought the rain was done here in Texas, but maybe not. I'm out here still working on this patio and it is now sprinkling. You can probably hear the wind. So hopefully I can finish this because it desperately needs it. See, look at that line of where I've cleaned it versus where I have not. It needs it. I keep seeing the sun poking through, so I'm hopeful. So it ended up really just sprinkling a little bit. The rain held off, and so I was really glad for that so that I could finish this project, because one thing about me, once I get going on a project, it's so hard for me to stop mid-project. Like, I just like to complete things. It's, I guess, my toxic trait. But anyway, back to my story of moving here. So this area was a little bit outside of our budget, but we really heard great things about the school district here, the elementary school, the middle school, and the high school. And so we really wanted to try to make it work, and we had to be patient to find the right house. And this house was built in the late 70s and was not updated at all. So we did end up getting a really great deal on this house, and I was somewhat excited, a little bit overwhelmed, because I definitely love doing makeovers. I love design and styling things and all of that. If you follow my channel, you probably know that, because I just continuously do little projects around our house. But I was kind of excited, but also, like I said, overwhelmed. However, so we moved here in the summer of 2009. It actually was almost exactly 16 years ago, because we signed the contract mid-July. So it's almost exactly 16 years since we moved here. And my youngest son was going into kindergarten. And so I knew that I would have more time on my hands as a stay-at-home mom while they were in school during the day. So I knew that I would be able to work on these home projects and do a lot of the work myself. If you are interested to see what the house looked like before I did any work on it, I did put out a video, I think it was a couple of years ago now, where I talked about the whole process of updating our house and how I was kind of disappointed that I didn't have my YouTube channel, or at least like some video documentation of everything, because I pretty much just have like before and after pictures. So in that video where I'm talking about it, I show a lot of before and after pictures. So I can link that in the description box if you're interested in seeing what my house looked like before I got my hands on it. Over the years, I have just continued to update our home and to take on projects. I just get inspired and I get these creative ideas, and then I just want to see them come to fruition. And of course, over the years, style changes, and so I kind of like to keep up with that as well. So it's been really fun to have this home as just my canvas for creativity. And I have to say, I'm so thankful for my husband, who just allows me to do whatever. I don't usually even ask him anymore. I used to ask him, but his answer was always usually, I trust you. I know that you know what good style looks like. And so he would always just let me do what I wanted. The only thing he did raise his eyebrows to a little bit was my pink living room. If you haven't seen that, definitely check my channel out for that makeover, which was about 1.5 years ago. But now he loves that room, and he just finds that room really calming and likes to sit in there sometimes, especially in the evening when the sun is setting. We did really enjoy this pool area as our children were growing up. We definitely got a lot of use out of it. And now, of course, they're older and don't use it as much. But like I mentioned, my youngest son was 5 when we moved into this home. So it was kind of perfect age for a pool because he knew how to swim. And I was so thankful to have this as entertainment every summer for our kids. Well, friends, this video is wrapping up. I do hope it brought you some motivation for your day to get some sort of space in your home cleaned up today. I hope that you enjoyed what I shared in the voiceover about our home. And as always, I do really appreciate you watching all the way until the end, and I will see you next time. Bye.